Pacers, who they take on tonight at 8:30 p.m. on ABC. Kyrie Irving, your thoughts?
I've just always been really great at it. Being down the stretch, running middle pick and roll, being able to get my own shot, get other guys' shots. I think that that my style of play down the stretch has evolved since I was a rookie. So now, just understanding of when a three is needed, or when an easy two can really just stop a run, and just answering the call. That's really what it's about when it gets down to those winning minutes down the stretch. It's just not so much about worrying about what could possibly happen. It's just going out and doing it and just being fearless about it.
You're an Indiana kid growing up in the 80s, right? And I've said this many times, a dream day for a kid from here, or dream weekend, would be to go to your high school game, which could be 5,000 people, 4,000 people at the game, or if you go to Newcastle, 10,000 people. And then you go to a college game on a Saturday, whether it's an IU game, Purdue, or Butler, whatever the case may be, and then the Sunday games you get to watch the Pacers play. In the 80s for us, if you weren't watching the Pacers play, you were watching basically the Celtics in the early part of the afternoon and the Lakers in the evening. And so, and Larry Bird, obviously, his impact on the game, his impact on all kids in Indiana cannot be overstated.
Well, I hit a last-second shot to win the state tournament, which is probably the best one I've had, so it's something I'll never forget. I think high school basketball in Indiana is just about everything, so it was a memory that will last forever, and that was a lot of fun. It was actually the day before my birthday too, so we got back to the gym and the whole town sang happy birthday. It was quite a extravaganza, so it was cool.
It's a matter of putting it in the hole. You're getting open looks.
Whatever it takes.
They're doing what we need to do. Irvin and Tatum and Haywood, those guys are knocking down shots. They're putting it in the hole. They're getting stops. It's the same thing we need to do. When those opportunities, certainly in the second half, you got to put the ball in the basket, and you got to get stops. And I think we've had some good looks, but they're not falling for us at times. And for a stretch of period of time, last night I think it was 8 minutes, we were stuck on 82. And we had some good looks in that 8 minutes, and we're still close enough to win that game.
Covering the Celtics and the Pacers, we are delighted to have Rebecca Harlow join us. Now, you broke the news earlier on our air about Victor Oladipo being in the building tonight. So tell us a little bit more of what you learned from that situation.
Yes, I can tell you that the Pacers are exceptionally excited that they have got him tonight. They feel like he's going to be a huge boost. Earlier today, I talked to Pacers GM Chad Buchanan and asked him what kind of impact he thinks Oladipo will make tonight. He told me his ability to reset each day is like no one I've ever been around. He said that this guy is so positive, and that when he's around the team, that just spreads through everyone. Now, the other thing that he told me is that will be vocal from the bench tonight, so he's going to be like an extra coach out there. But he said his ability to just elevate people's confidence has been really special for this Pacers team. So I think just having that shot of energy and positivity is exactly what this Pacers team is going to need tonight.
They're definitely going to need that. Now, you mentioned the word reset. What type of adjustments has Coach McMillan made? Because we've seen them make a lot of late game errors, mistakes, unforced errors. What are some of the things that he spoke about as far as adjustments go late in the game?
Well, it's true, but one thing that he's also said is that he's not going to get away from his game plan, because he feels like they're getting good shots, good looks at the basket, but that they're just not falling. So he said that in late game scenarios, they've got to stay sharp. But here's the balance that I think you've got to look for tonight. He told me that the Celtics have been fantastic at guarding that first and second option with their defense. And so the Pacers need to just stick with it. But then talking to Thaddeus Young, he also told me that there are times where he's glanced up at that shot clock. He's seen it's around 15. He'll make an extra pass because he's looking for a better shot. He told me that he's got to be more aggressive aggressive, be maybe even a little bit more selfish tonight to try to get things going offensively for the Pacers if they're going to win this one at home.
Thaddeus Young so far giving you 11 points per game, a little bit lower than his regular season averages. But on to the Celtics. Earlier you spoke to Al Horford. What's the latest with him? We know that he was experiencing some sickness earlier in the week. What's the latest with Al?
Yes. Could you imagine trying to play an NBA playoff game when you haven't eaten in 24 hours and you're not feeling well? Well, that's what Al Horford went through in Game 2. And so obviously his numbers not exactly where they were. However, he was so clutch defensively down the stretch. He told me today that he feels so much better. And yes, he's been eating. So that's going to be a big difference, that they'll just have a healthy Al Horford, because again, they're without Marcus Smart. But guys, Marcus Smart is traveling with the team. So that also is going to help the Celtics, too, when they've got to win in this hostile environment, to have his energy. He's a similar guy to Victor Oladipo in terms of bringing that energy for his team.
Pretty sure the Celtics will be happy to have him back, as far as you talk about bringing that energy. But someone who brings the energy on the floor is Kyrie Irving. Uncle Drew has been magnificent so far in the playoffs. During the season, he was up and down. But as you've been around Kyrie, we've seen he's been in a really good mood. Is that mood going to continue and lead to another spectacular performance in Game 3?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what this guy lives for. He's just so clutch. He's one of the most clutch players in the entire NBA. So after scoring just 16 points for a team, the Celtics, in third quarter of Game 2, he just came back and took over. We know Kyrie's going to do that. But guys, I think here's the question as it pertains to the Celtics tonight. They're just 1-7 on the road in the playoffs last year. So are they going to be a better playoff team this year? That's what we're going to see tonight. We know Kyrie Irving's going to bring it, but what about Jason Tatum? He's been spectacular, but can he do it out here on the road? That's going to be the question.
Well, you know what? You always bring it every time you join us on NBA TV. Same question. And Grant, I'll start with you. The ability to bring it on the road. We saw last season they didn't have Kyrie, but now they have him. We know what type of performer he is in the postseason. Is having him in the lineup going to be the difference going on the road?
Well, obviously this team is a lot different than last year, but I think he's part of the difference. You know, having a guy on the road who can close out games, who can put the ball in his hands and finish in the fourth quarter, much like he's done throughout his whole career and much like he's done in this series. I think that, combined with their ability to defend, and then playing against a team in Indiana and who has a difficult time scoring. So I think everything sort of is favorable for the Celtics if they go out and play. Now, the problem is you just don't really get a good feeling of what Celtic team will show up and decide to play. But, yeah, I mean, look, they defend. You have Kyrie, who's capable. And you know, playoff basketball, fourth quarter, there's no one you want the ball. You know, there's a handful of people that you don't mind having the ball in that situation. He's one of them. So, yeah, him being healthy, him being productive, him being at his best, even with the shortcomings that they have, maybe some of the lack of chemistry, maybe not playing at the level we thought they would play at the start of the season. You know, he gives you a chance. The defense and the way he plays and the way he finishes.
Now, B. Wood, as far as Indiana goes, the reserves, we've seen that their numbers offensively, they've dropped substantially. We know that they're not executing as well as you would like them to execute if you're a Pacer fan. What are the role players? Can playing in front of that home crowd help them to elevate their game to play at a different level?
Well, the thing is, right now with Indiana, the whole team is role players, and I'm not even making any jokes. They don't have any superstars because Oladipo's out now. Their stars hurt, so I think everybody can feed off that energy, not just the bench starters as well. I'm looking for Miles Turner to do big things. Only averaging about 6 points per game in this series. Wesley Matthews also. So they're going to need all those guys to step up. It has to be a collective effort because Victor's not there, and in a playoff series, you normally want to go to your star in certain situations. This team collectively is going to have to raise their level. I think they'll be able to do that at home. And then the fact of the matter is kind of what you talked about, Grant. The Boston Celtics are a very inconsistent team. And just when you think you have them figured out, something else normally happens with this team. That's been the up and down roller coaster they've been on all season long. And I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't come out with the proper energy tonight and the Pacers, with their back against the wall, come out as the hungrier team and fight their way into a victory. The Pacers have been fighters all year long. I don't expect them to lay down tonight.
Hey, you make a great point. I mean, I think their defense, their ability to defend has helped them as Oladipo's been out. and the fact that they played great team basketball, which has been their recipe for success. And even in this series, like in game 2, like, you know, they just had a meltdown at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You know, they can't go and resort to hero basketball. You know, they don't have a Kyrie Irving. Bogdanovich has played great. He's really stepped up his play. He's kind of their best player since Oladipo's been out. But those last 6, 7, 8 minutes in the fourth quarter, they still got to play team ball, move the ball. He's not the kind of guy you can put the ball in his hands and say, go get a basket. And it looked like at times in game 2, they were kind of going to him to do that. That's not who he is. So, yeah, typically in playoffs, you know, you get your elite players, they close the game, you give them the ball and let them go. The role players, the whole team is going to have to collectively play together offensively to give themselves a chance, particularly down the stretch here in game 3.
We'll see what happens. Last year, the Celtics, after winning the first 2 games, they dropped their next 2, so Indiana might have some hope. Now the Raptors, talking about a guy who can go get it. You have right there T. Ross, the boss. Now, the Raptors locked down the Magic. They held Mickey Mouse to a season-low 82 points, but what will happen as they shift the series to Orlando? More Game Time.